A Revelation chapter 14 is this little sneak peek of what heaven and hell are going to be like. It's almost like a movie preview, and the following preview has been approved for all audiences. So what will heaven be like? It's almost like there are a lot of places on earth where you got to have the right mark in order to get in, whether it's an amusement park or Chuck E. Cheese or maybe a club, where you go up to the door and they give you kind of mark like this, or they stamp something on your hand, and you can walk around and you can be like, hey, yes, I belong here. I've got the mark. I belong here. I've got, boom, boom, I have access. Boom, I can come here. I belong here. Check that out. And there's a lot of talk about marks in Revelation chapter 14. A lot of talks about being marked. And it starts in verse 1, and it says this. And it's kind of a sneak preview of heaven. And it says, the scene changed. Da, 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 da. I looked and I saw the Lamb standing on top of Mount Zion. And with him were the 144,000 who had his name and his Father's name inscribed on their forehead. So here we've got the sneak preview of heaven, and there are a bunch of people hanging out with Jesus, and they've got his mark on their forehead. He has engraved his name on their forehead and on their heart. But there's another mark that is mentioned in Revelation chapter 14 that's not nearly as pleasant. And it starts in verse 9. Verse 9 and 10 says this: another messenger, a third, followed, and this third messenger said with a loud voice, those who worship the beast and its image, and all who receive its mark on their foreheads or on their hands, will be forced to drink the wine of God's wrath, poured out undiluted into the cup of God's anger. And they will face the torment of fire and the agony of sulfurous flames before the holy messengers and the Lamb. Okay, that, my friends, is not a mixed drink that you want to imbibe in, all right? So the whole thing about heaven, it seems like, in hell, is who has marked you. We've got people who have been marked, and we get this clear choice, and we can take the mark of God. We can allow his love to mark us, and that just destines us for heaven, where we can allow Satan to mark us. We have this clear choice, but first we've got to realize that we don't belong to ourselves. Life doesn't work that way. For all our talk about freedom, for all our talk about independence, we don't belong to ourselves. But we do get to choose who we belong to and who owns us. And that's what the mark is all about. The mark declares ownership. It declares who owns us. Remember the movie Toy Story? I love it. It's one of my favorites. And in the movie Toy Story, here we go. Here's Woody. Check this out. Whoa! There he goes. And in the movie Toy Story, you can tell who Woody belongs to when you look at the bottom of his boot. He belongs to Andy, and Andy has written his name on Woody's boot. And so that declares ownership. That lets everybody know that Woody belongs to Andy. Now, it's the same thing with my underwear, believe it or not. When I used to go to camp, I would take my underwear and I would write my name on my underwear like anybody would actually want my underwear. But I wanted to declare ownership. I wanted everybody to know in my cabin, in my dorm, hey, this underwear belongs to me. So don't mess with it. And it's the same with us, okay? The mark on our life declares who we belong to. It declares ownership. It also determines destination. What mark we choose, who we choose to be marked by, determines our destination. Are we destined for love or wrath? Okay, who owns you? You get to decide. You get to decide. Are you going to be owned by God? Are you going to belong to him? Are you going to let his love own you? It's a choice that we make. If we choose to do nothing, we're choosing to be owned by the enemy. So surrender to the love of God. Let God own you. Belong to him. Find belonging in him. And let his love mark you. And let him engrave his name on your heart and on your life. It's an incredible thing. Get owned today. God bless you guys. Giddy up.